You're a legend in music and disco and R&B and Motown. What do you think about the recent renaissance of disco that we've seen with artists like Beyoncé and Dua Lipa? They've put out a lot of disco records in the last couple years, or disco inspired.
Well, what I'll say to that is that just goes to show you that that music that for a brief for a time, disco in the 70s was like everybody, and then everybody was embracing it
Hmm.
because it was fun and it was people danced to it, and there was some good songs that came out of that period of time, even though it was, you could also dance to it. It was like good song that you could also dance to. And then the haters came in for whatever reason. I guess and maybe it's because disco got to be a little crazy. With just everybody thought that if I put something out and it goes, pss, 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 if it has that kind of a beat to it, then that's disco, and
Hmm.
it ruined it, I think. And so then it made people start hating it. But the actual dance music never really went away. I still had an audience.
Hmm.
I could still work. It's just that the PR behind disco was kind of bad. But I'm happy to say that like the Beyoncés and Dua Lipa and the other artists that are bringing it back. I think that it's a good thing because people like to be able to dance,
Hmm.
and people
They
want to
do.
be. They do. They like that, and so and it's a party.
Yeah.
Over the years, whenever I've done like for big corporations and like that, when they want to do something special for their employees, like they'll say, okay, we're gonna, they'll have them go to a conference or whatever, and for the big night, what do you think they have? It'll be dance music.
Yeah.
Everybody will say, "Oh, it's going to be the theme. It's going to be the '70s," or we're gonna, and they'll have artists like me or the people from that era, Martha Wash, all of the people from that
Hmm.
era. That's who they invite to
Yeah.
these parties, you
Well,
know,
disco is still alive and well in my eyes, so
and kicking
and kicking.
real high.
Yeah. What can you tell us about your upcoming single, Love Train, and what inspires you these days to make new music? What do you draw from?
Well, you know, I do a lot. I do a lot. I do shows with the band, and then I do some shows that are track dates, depending
Hmm.
on the gig. And so for both, I wanted to start adding in some new material because after a while, especially if it's a track, you get kind of, you want to be inspired with
Hmm.
some new stuff as well. So I was picking songs, and I thought, this song just spoke to me, and it's "Love Train" was originally recorded by the OJ's,
Hmm.
and I think that the lyrics of the song are so relevant to what's going on now, and I do believe that it's going to take love. It's going to take, and before you can get to that part, you're going to have some empathy, and you're going to have show kindness. But I think at some point, if you do those things, you come to the place that's a place of love.
Yeah.
And I think at that point is so love is like a superpower, right? So at
Hmm.
that point, we can maybe have some conversations, and we can talk to each other, and we can figure things out, and we can figure out how to make this work. Because right now everything is just totally so divided, and I that makes me very sad. So
Yeah.
I'm that's and in my, because I don't go out, I don't use my platform to go out and lecture people and do that. I don't. Maybe I should. I just don't. Because I think people come to be entertained, you
Hmm.
know. But if I throw that song in,
Yeah.
and
The
they're like,
message will ring true.
exactly, exactly.
Speaking of love, you're going to be performing at a few Pride festivals coming up.
Yes.
What does it feel like to be an ally and icon in the LGBTQ community, and why is it important for you to perform at these events?
Well, you know, back in the day, and I have to keep referring back, before um, before the name LGBTQ community, before the name, I will say that, not before, but before that name, um, when when there was a terrible AIDS came along,
Hmm.
and we were all frightened by it. My friends who were my hairdressers, my um, designed my clothes, and just people who were my friends and supporters started they had this terrible with the pneumonia and all these sicknesses, and nobody knew what was going on.
Hmm.
So we would try to get together our friends, and we would try to do, like, if somebody needed a little help with this, or needed a little help with their pets, or needed a little, or even people who were just totally, um, families were disowning them. We tried to embrace them, and we tried to, and so that's how it started. And those are the people that have always been supportive of me. At
Hmm.
the time that Don't Leave Me This Way came out, even before it was on the radio, it was being played in the clubs.
Yeah.
And there was a movie called Looking for Mr. Goodbar. And that song was played when they were filming the movie. And because the song was big in the clubs, they kept playing it in the movie. And that's why. And so that was the community that embraced me. And it was at the same time that the community was starting to become more organized. And so that's how it came to be. And so I celebrate them because they were the first ones to celebrate me, and the first ones to support me when I couldn't get airplay.
Yeah.
So that's why. So I'm always there, and I look forward to the celebration, in June. And sometimes, like last year, I wasn't working or anything, but I still go. I go to the Pride parades and stuff, and hang out, and just, because those are the people that supported me.